this. If you look at it from this angle, it would make sense the baby would drop like this instead of this being a pelvic bowl.
Mm-hmm.
This makes more sense.
Mm-hmm. It's a
With
funnel.
That, it's like it's like it takes this baby down into there and drops it right in.
When we have a long, supple pelvic floor muscle in balanced sides, relatively balanced sides, we get a baby turning direct occiput anterior.
Yeah, I mean, just doing that feels right. Their only option, if they were coming from the right side,
Not their only option.
Well, yeah. If they're coming down on the right side, one of their options, if we're looking at the pelvic floor in this scenario, is to turn, they'd be more like this. They're going to want to turn this way.
Now, why do they want to? Is that a want of the baby?
No, I think it's the physiological, if we look at this, it's not a bowl.
It's raised up on the side. And what part of the pelvic floor interacts with what part of the baby? So when the baby comes down from the right, and there is the presence of right obliquity in the uterus, the baby's back is going to be straighter, and that deflexes baby's head, right occiput transverse. Now we see the large part of the baby's head interacting with the slope of the pelvic floor first. That further deflexes the baby because the forehead is smaller. And now, because of the shape of the pelvic brim, rotation goes to direct OP. And this would be your short arc rotation. You have short arc rotation more often in the pelvis, especially if there's engagement first. Now, if you come back up, and we can try another rotation, if the baby is able to flex a little bit, maybe baby can turn long arc rotation, which would be right occiput anterior. So the head would be able to turn.
Yes.
And baby would be able to come to right occiput anterior. We need more balance in the muscles for this to happen. Now there's a third option that I've noticed, is baby's ROT for very strong contractions. And then suddenly baby flips to LOT above the brim, for the front. And that usually happens with 3 very, very strong contractions a day or 2 into labor. And now baby is left occiput transverse, and there's a pause in labor. And baby is now flexed, so you can flex the baby's head. And then we see when labor picks up again after a rest, baby rotating down into the pelvis and, engaging in the pelvis and rotating occiput, left occiput anterior. And then down in the outlet. Not until baby is way down in the outlet does baby go direct OA.
If they're not flexed, that's the aha moment for me. The non-flexion, that they would want to go this way.
And it's not that they want to, it's that the shape of the pelvis.
It's just the way they have to do it.
Yeah, it's the shape
One
of
of the ways
pelvis.
they have to do it.
In this case, it's the shape of the pelvis. Because the large dome of their head goes into this notch. So first they have to go in
Get
here.
in there, yep.
And then as they go down farther, they get direct OP. That's short arc rotation. Yeah. And now it depends on how well the pelvis is aligned and open at the bottom, whether they can be born vaginally or not. It's 51%.
And imagine what they're feeling this whole time.
They're getting compression. A lot of compression.
Coming in there, in this space, unflexed.
Yeah. It's jamming a lot of cranial plates.
Yeah. And it's, what do we have here?
The
sphenoid, temporals. We're going to get more of that elongated. This is what's going to need to be worked on the baby when we're coming in this way.
Well, and also the jaw.
Yes. All of that coming in.
And at the respiratory diaphragm.
Yep. And then think about them.
Here.
And then when they do this, when they're down in there, when they come out OP, now we have the occiput.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they're down farther, but
Yeah. Or they get stuck with their forehead on the brim, and then
Like
you
this.
have the frontal bone pressed in.
Or like this.
Mm-hmm. And they can't help with the birth because they're already extended. Yeah.
And then as we're doing that rotation, that makes even more sense of what that baby, how that baby would be affected. I'd love to see somebody write a book on the position that baby was in the majority of the time in pregnancy, the position baby came out in, and the issues that baby has.
Like torticollis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What did
We can see easy births, and yet the baby has torticollis because they were OP in the womb for 3 months.
Yeah. So if we're sitting,
Not just OP, but OP and a little bit asynclitic in the womb.
you know,
But the birth goes straight forward because they've got the room in the pelvis, right? So some of that is how much room between the bones.